Welcome to AstroEnergy with Astrologer Angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the AstroEnergy show on Blog Talk Radio for April 19th, 2016. My name is Shelley Overton and I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. Happy to welcome you. Hope you've had a good week. We are going to be talking about so many planets and things today because we have a lot going on this month in particular, but this week even more so actually. Whoa, sorry about that. I almost lost my headset. There we go. Anyway, so just to update you on things around the farm here in Orlando, I had an interesting week, and of course the plane's going overhead right now. Hopefully it doesn't affect you and you can't hear it. I apologize if it does, but I had an animal show up. I had a cat come to my house this week, and I thought that was rather interesting because I may have said this last week. I don't know. I had a friend do a reading, and she pretty much told me that one of my deceased relatives was telling me there was a cat coming or there was a cat around me, and I'd had a couple in and out of my life, but, well, strays in this area. But I ended up having this cat. I apologize if I tried to mute it while I cleared my throat. I don't know if I did. I think I did. Anyway, this cat showed up at my door, and it looks like it's between, I would say it's about 11 months old. It's a little bit smaller than an adult, but it's not a little baby kitten, so it's still kind of young. So about 10 to 11 months old. Anyway, it's extremely affectionate. And so in the last week, I have been dealing with this incredible, affectionate cat. And the little thing, I think he has mange or something, some kind of skin rash or something. So I'm treating it with some coconut oil. He was so affectionate. He was like, "Oh, hi, you're petting me. You're coming out to pay attention," because I'm allergic. So when I go out there, I'm like, "Oh, geez, I really want to touch you, but I'm going to sneeze, so I got to wash right away." Anyway, so I put all this coconut oil on his fur to try and get rid of these little red dots all over his skin. And his fur is missing on the second half. Well, it's really short. It's like a quarter of an inch on the back of his body. So I'm really trying to nurse him back to health. I got him some cat food, and I'm going to start feeding him some herbs that I've looked up online to help get his immune system boosted so he can get healthy. And then I have to get him neutered. So we're going to do all that, and if it's a problem, I will probably find him a good home, because I don't want him to be outside if he's going to be cold, and I really can't have him in the house. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, that's my project for the week, along with getting the garden up and running, and it's been doing really well. I've actually been harvesting things, broccoli and stuff like that, and watering it, looking good. And so Sunday, I went out with a friend, and actually Saturday evening was when Mars went retrograde. And so, was it Saturday? I take it back. It might have been Saturday. I'm just trying to think. No, it was Saturday, Mars went retrograde. But Sunday, I went and met a friend, and we went to lunch, and went to this really cute Korean place. It was all like pop art and everything. And then the food I had was, I'm a vegan, and so I had some tofu, and it looked really good. But the only thing with it that I noticed was that the avocado was a little bit grayish, which, you know, I eat avocados that are a little past ripe. And then it had this red tofu triangles that were soft and spongy, and had this red, clear, gelatinous sauce with spice on it. And sure enough, by the time I got home, I was losing all of it, and for like 45 minutes, I threw up. So that lasted all day as far as feeling bad. I had a fever. So the day I had, and I'm thinking that might have been Saturday, because I know, oh no, it was Sunday. It was Sunday because earlier in the day I had breakfast with my mom and ended up getting in a fight with her. So that was the day that Pluto went retrograde. What a lovely day. So I'm hoping you all have a better time with the retrograde. But that being said, this is going to be probably an intense discussion because I'm going to bring up some things I don't normally talk about and don't normally like to discuss because I do like to keep it positive. But when I do readings and when I talk about astrology on my show, every week I do get information that comes through before my show. Today I got it this morning. A lot of times, well, normally I get it Tuesday mornings, and I used to have my show on Wednesdays, but I would get the information Tuesday mornings for some reason, and then I would put it down and write it up for the show. But now that I have my show on Tuesday mornings, I get it the same day, and then I get my show later. So, yeah. Pardon me, I'm having a little congestion. So if you hear me cut out, it's just me clearing my throat, and I'm trying not to be rude and clear my throat in your ear. So, and I want to tell you, if you want to call in for a reading, the number is 347-994-3365, and we'll get you. It's probably going to run a little long, but maybe the bottom of this hour, just before the break, or immediately after. But we're going to talk about what's going on astrologically too. So, and then we'll talk a little bit about Pluto retrograde. So, okay, so Saturday was Mars retrograde, and Saturn was coming up, or actually Saturn retrograde was coming up on Mars, and Mars was coming up on Saturn until Mars went retrograde. So now Mars is going away, and he's first, so it's 8 degrees Mars Sagittarius retrograde, and then 15 Sagittarius Saturn retrograde. So they're both in the same direction now, but they are not necessarily conjoining at the exact same degree. So Mars is kind of leading the way over what we have to go back over. And Saturn will not get back into Scorpio. He's going to stay in Sagittarius, but Mars does have some last minute details to wrap up when he gets to Scorpio. And usually I have a cheat sheet, a piece of paper that I can just look on, and it's probably floating around here because I write the same information every week, so I just decided to keep it. But I don't see it around here to actually tell you when Mars gets into Scorpio again. So, let me see here. He actually gets into Scorpio on the 28th of May. So from now until May 28th, he's going to be going backward over Sagittarius. So he's bringing up a lot of early degree Sagittarius energy. An early degree of any sign is going to bring out new energy from that particular sign, which is Sagittarius. So it's going to be about, I'm thinking of doing X, and in this case I'm thinking of moving. I'm thinking of going back to school. I'm thinking of making a major life change. I'm thinking of starting a band, anything like that, and buying a new home, buying real estate. So Mars retrograde means he's going, wait a minute, I want to go back over this, and I want to really reevaluate what it is that I've done and look at it again and see if it's what I really want to do or if there's something else I can do. And so this time between now and May 28th, he's reevaluating the actions taken that relate to long-distance travel, that relate to taking any kind of trips, that relate to expansion, spirituality, all the classic Sagittarius energies that I talk about every week. Definitely education is going to be part of that, and questioning whether or not you should. And honestly, I know my son is getting ready to go to college at the end of the summer, and so this energy falls up there midheaven in his house of education, but also going into his house of career. So he's probably having like this energy affect him about whether or not he is happy doing what he's going to do, or if he really wants to go where he's considering going, which is going to be really great. I think it's going to be fabulous for him, but it's his time to reevaluate. So that may come up for him. Wherever it falls in your chart, that's the area of your life also that's included in this energy. So, and I'll get to that when I do the readings, but for this, we have other things to talk about as a show topic, so I'm going to not get into that too heavily. Pluto at 17 retrograde in trine at 19 Taurus is Mercury, and also in trine to both of them is Jupiter at 13 Virgo, which makes a grand Earth trine in the sky right now. So it's not exact because Jupiter, I don't believe because Jupiter's retrograde, I don't think it's going to actually make an exact. And by the time he gets going direct, he's not going to be direct exact to Mercury, except for the fact that Mercury is going retrograde, which is one other thing I wanted to bring up. So Mercury will go retrograde at the end of the month on the 29th. That's just an eyeball. I'll tell you the specific time here in a little bit. And he's retrograde through the 21st of May. And Jupiter actually goes direct right in the middle of that cycle, which I find really interesting. And so Mercury will get back to 14 degrees. And Jupiter, when he goes direct, he'll be at 13. And so let me see, if he'll already be at 14, and he has to get up to 14, but he'll be at 17. So they really don't cross paths. Mercury does not exact to Jupiter before he gets out of the sign into Gemini. So that was just a little something I want to see there. But he is influencing Jupiter right now, and he's influencing him in the means of thinking about value, thinking about, quote unquote, what's important, which is a key phrase that we hear a lot for people who are Taurus energy, Taurus ruled, Taurus moon, Taurus Mercury, anything with Taurus, they're going to be like, talking about keeping it real and what's real. And because it's a tangible energy, it's about where we express our value in a physical manifested way. So that's part of it. And then Virgo is an earth sign, but it rules more of the altruistic part of life, like the health and service. So Virgo is, it is tangible, but it's about words. It's about papers and details. It can be paperwork. I tell you, as a Virgo, I have so much paperwork in this house, and I think it's just that Virgo, and Mercury in Virgo as well. So it's that side of things. So now with Jupiter there, it's about, Jupiter arena, so it can be about paperwork associated with travel, paperwork associated with education, and details around those things. And then the materiality of, well, okay, is that going to work for me in what I have to do, what I have to accomplish? My schedule is not saying it. So it can be scheduling, and Capricorn definitely likes to organize. So part of it's scheduling, part of it is money, part of it is time and travel, and are you getting your needs met? Are people paying attention to the details of the moment? And then there are major life changes associated with that, because we're going to be talking about Pluto here in a minute. So I will get to that when I talk about Pluto. Neptune is at 11 Pisces, and he is within 2 degrees of an exact opposition to Jupiter, which continues to go backwards. And let me see. He will get to 13, 16, and Neptune is at 11. Neptune doesn't go retrograde at 12 degrees until the middle of June. So they're going to be kind of transiting, but not an exact. Jupiter has pretty much moved past the exact opposition to Neptune, but we are still feeling it. So it's really interesting that the visual imagery you see in a chart, so the angles making up a picture, if you could see Jupiter at the apex, at the point that is prominent, the centerpiece, with straight opposite is Neptune, and then off to either side is Mercury and Jupiter, you have like a giant arrowhead. So there is an extra emphasis on Jupiter and the energy of dreams and manifestation of dreams, and feeling like you're good enough and breaking down structures, because that's what Neptune does. So, and Neptune is really emphasizing that idea of what we desire, what we would like to have happen, versus what may be the reality, or the reality for the moment, which is really more what it is, because Jupiter is going to be slowing down and going direct coming up in early May. So we're going to be feeling more of that release of old ideology around how we feel responsible for other people, that altruism and always having to help people, help. Jupiter really wants us to understand how to help ourselves. And I think that's usually always the lost person in the Virgo equation, is the sense of self given away to so many people, altruistically, not begrudgingly. Just that's what drives Virgo. Well, Jupiter definitely infuses that need to pay attention to the personal needs of what you're dealing with in your life. So that is kind of the apex of what's going on with this grand trine. And let's see what else we have here. So Pluto at 17 is an exact square to Venus at 17 degrees Aries today. Uranus is right next to her at 21, so there is probably going to be some kind of extra, and I would say that's probably a Hillary energy, because I know she has, I know she has a lot of Scorpio in her chart. I can't remember all of it. I thought she had some Cancer in it too, which squares both Capricorn or opposes Capricorn, squares Aries. So, Venus conjunct Uranus, not only would it be Hillary, because she's a female political figure, which combines both these energies, but it could be any woman in the spotlight or in the public eye at odds with authority, because Venus coming up on Uranus is the rebel and the person who sees themselves as unique and apart from the crowd and kind of above it all. There is a certain amount of condescension associated with Uranus, that, I am so smart, and they really are the genius of the zodiac, but Uranus brings that energy of they are so quick about something, they understand it so rapidly that they don't have patience for other people, so they can come across a bit condescending, or actually they like to, and this means that a woman may also be connected to doing this, is they put people in a position where they have to look at their own motivations, where they see their own where they're reflected, it's their energy and how they look at things, their ideology is reflected back to them. So Uranus can play with people, if that makes sense to you, that they are like little mischief makers, so that they understand a cause and effect relationship that others may not see. So then they present the thing that's uncomfortable to people so that they can see it. And Venus, right up there next to Uranus, is inclined to do that, is, very much not wanting to be told what to do, sit down and shut up and be put in her place. She's going to speak up. So that energy is coming out right now. And then Pluto just going retrograde is an attempt for authority, and to, especially Pluto, which rules power, and then Capricorn, which is in a power position in the top of the chart at the midheaven, and then also ruled by Saturn. It's about creating the structure and the power structure. So Pluto is really making the power structures chaotic right now with the square to Uranus. And then Venus in there is desire. So the feminine nature is right now at odds with authority. So I don't know if you can hear my cat. My cat. Look at that. I've owned it. Oh, I haven't named it yet. When I name it, it will be mine, probably. I've got a few names going around. Felix is one of them, but I'm not sure I like that. So anyway, okay, so Mercury we talked about. Oh, Sun at 29 degrees and 58 minutes of Aries right now, ending of something, ending of an ego issue, ending of the initiating energy of getting something going. This is strong energy for Aries. This is also Capricorn, Cancer, and what's the last one? Capricorn, Cancer, Libra. And so we're feeling some of that energy. If you are a late degree, if your birthday is 6 months from today or 3 months away from today, either direction, you're going to be feeling this energy really strongly about wrapping up some issue. And let's see, so what time does the sun go in? So we have let's see, today's the 19th. The sun enters, so I knew there was a connection here. The moon enters Libra at 7:24 a.m., which it just did. And literally in 10 minutes, I got chills, the sun enters Taurus. So we are entering the Taurus area of the chart right in the middle of my show. How awesome is that? So Aries, initiating energy, sales, asserting yourself and then taking a physical manifestation. So the sun moves into Taurus, which can be the fallout from the earthquakes. It can be physical energy connecting in the value of something, and definitely it rules the energy that goes along with insurance after natural disasters, because it's the goods and possessions. So that's the energy we're coming into. So the light will shine on some material goods. It can shine on the stock market. Definitely Mercury in Taurus is more of a strong stock market energy because it's the mind, it's our thought processes, which means it expresses through Taurus, and the Taurus energy understands the stock market, understands economy, understands economics and money and possessions and that whole world, that realm. So with Mercury there, it's like, boom, I really get it. That being said, when Mercury goes retrograde this whole year, it's going to be in Earth signs. Started out with, I believe it was the Virgo one first. I don't remember right off the top of my head. Let me look real quick here. The first one, Capricorn. Okay, that would make more sense. So the first one this year was in Capricorn. This one is in Taurus, and the last one of the year, I believe, is in Virgo when it goes retrograde in August. Yeah, and it retrogrades from 29 degrees Virgo in August. So this year is about worth and money. Point blank. So when it goes retrograde, we are going to absolutely feel off kilter, off balance. And definitely with the retrograde, you're going to feel the stock market pull back in. So that's one of the realms of astrology I would really love to look more into, is financial astrology and medical astrology, those two areas. But yeah, he'll be 23 degrees Taurus when he retrogrades until 14 degrees. So he's already in a shadow period, which means he's already past the point of return, opposite of point of no return, but he's at the point of return. Okay, so that being said, so we've got, and we have an inconjunct right now between Sun and Moon, which of course will go fairly quickly because the Moon will transit out of that. The Moon literally is 1 degree in Libra right now. So we're thinking about relationships. We're thinking about how to partner with people. And then Aries, as he goes into Taurus, is going to think more about relationships as well, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus and Venus rules love. So both the Moon and the Sun will be in Venus-ruled signs, which is pretty cool if you're looking for love. Okay, so now we go into some of our Pluto retrograde energy. Okay, I know I talk about this every year because, and this is what, the 5th year of my show? Every year it ends up Pluto retrogrades in the same sign. So every year we talk about what the energy is. And this morning I was, I have to tell you, I have to qualify this. I have a Scorpio rising. I have a Scorpio moon, and I have Neptune right next to my Scorpio moon. So I have, and I have Pluto right on my sun. So Pluto rules Scorpio, which means I have a very large dose of Scorpio and Pluto energy in my chart. And that means that I am highly sensitive to things. I do go deep. I do like to merge with people. That would be my ideal, is to actually connect with someone who understands the world emotionally the way I do. That's one of my life goals. And, Neptune next to your moon, that's what's going to happen. That being said, having so much Pluto or Scorpio energy in your chart, you are definitely going to be feeling this transit of Pluto retrograde and Mars retrograde, since they retrograded within a day of each other, and they both do rule similar energies. Pluto ruling major life changes, wars in a physical, tangible sense, earthquakes and volcanoes, but shifting of your physical structure. And I can tell you, every time Pluto goes retrograde, my back hurts like crazy. My bones have just, since Pluto has gone into Capricorn for the last 7 years, my bones have really felt the shift of Pluto in Capricorn. So people who are more sensitive to that energy, and it can be Capricorns. Capricorns may have arthritis and more physique structures, more possible scoliosis, things like that, because the connection to their bodies, that Capricorn energy, is about the skeleton and the skeletal structure, the physical hard structure. And when Pluto comes in, Pluto comes and brings out that which isn't seen, all the things that are hidden. So, and it also, which I find interesting, Pluto rules the kidneys. And when Pluto retrogrades, or Pluto has this strong connection to Capricorn, we notice things where we have a toxic physique, where something is affecting our bodies, which is exactly what happened to me eating Sunday. I just realized that. But what happens is the kidneys they're not getting the toxins out, or there may be a backup of toxins or something like that. So toxins come to the surface, and that's definitely what's going to happen with Pluto retrograde. Now, the added Mars retrograde is just punctuating the energy of asserting and aggressive and passion and things that are yang energy, more driven, and things we strive for. So that energy is compounded with both retrograding at the same time, or within a day of each other. So, I mean, in an overall sense, the same time, but within a day, which is very intense, because not only are we having to deal with how to pull our energy back and look at other things, but now we have this added kind of slap in the face of Pluto going, yeah, bam, look at this too. So that being said, oh, this is not easy. So one of the things I wanted to bring up, because I think that this is really important and very relevant for Mars retrograding, especially back into Scorpio, because there are different areas of a chart that we look at when we think of life transition, and definitely the Scorpio house. It rules life and death and rebirth. So when you have, because Mars is in Sagittarius, you have Scorpio right next to Sagittarius in the zodiac. So Scorpio rules the area of psychology, the subconscious, things that are deep, deep emotions, life and death, and it brings that to the fore. It brings that energy into our mindset, into our emotions, and into our world. So we start naturally gravitating towards thoughts that might encompass some issues around death and dying or rebirth. Pluto in Capricorn can be about death of the elderly. It can be about insurance issues. It can be about things like that. But it's definitely going to bring up the idea of death. And when Mars goes back into Scorpio, end degrees of signs culminate or finish off stories. So with Mars retrograde back into Scorpio, there is a strong likelihood of the idea of death coming into our world. And specifically with this energy, people who have been struggling over the last couple of years, and especially when Saturn was going through Scorpio, then this can bring about the idea of a solution at their own hands. So I wanted to talk about this because it has connected into my world personally, and the idea of suicide is something that many people have to deal with. And because Pluto is the energy of death and rebirth and attracts our attention so strongly to these ideas, I wanted to discuss it in an astrological sense and in an emotional sense, because some of this energy was coming through to me this morning, and I can tell you as a Scorpio, I sense this energy so strongly, and not lately. Fortunately, a lot of the Sagittarius energy has really been helping us all be lighter and really let go of some of that intensity that we got when Saturn was in Scorpio. But I can tell you in the next, 2.5 days now, Moon's going to be in Scorpio. And then, what did I say? Mars goes back into Scorpio the end of May? Not in the end of May, I'm sorry. Actually, it was. It was the 28th of May. Okay. So the 28th of May. So we have about, I wanted to say it was 3 weeks. I looked at it. It was, I think, I'm just buying time while I look it up. So Yeah. So Mars goes into Scorpio the 28th of May. He goes direct on the 28th of June, and then he goes back out of Scorpio on the 3rd of August. So from May 28th through August 3rd, which is all of June and July, we're going to have these feelings come up, and it can result in hopeless feelings. It can result in lonely feelings, not feeling connected, because Scorpio is a very strong energy of connectedness. It just wants to merge with another human being emotionally. That's what Scorpio does when it comes in. It wants to, when any planets go through that house, they're looking to merge, they're looking to connect, they're looking to really feel deep feelings with another individual and find out what their value is to other individuals. So they may be, if you know people with strong Scorpio, they may not be feeling connected to someone, or they may be bemoaning or grieving the passing of a past paradigm that they had so much invested in, because that's the other side of Scorpio and the other side of Pluto is they commit. They're committers. It rules the house of commitment. The eighth house is the house right after the seventh of marriage and partnership, and the eighth house commits. So if you have experienced something that has run its course emotionally, physically, intellectually, business-wise, this is going to be the time when it's going to go and pass away and be gone. But it's our last goodbye. This is our wake. It's actually our funeral. And then the wake is when Pluto and Mars get direct again, and they release and say, okay, now I can move on. But because of the gravity of these feelings that we're going to be having, and probably the one last real kick is when Jupiter gets to Scorpio in a couple years, and that'll be September of next year. But Jupiter is an expansive energy. It will bring out, for a lot of those people born in the 80s, the kind of the Kurt Cobain era of being born. Not his generation, but the people born when that was happening. That's the Pluto and Scorpio era. They will feel this very strongly. And those energies are going to come out. So I guess I just wanted to go over it, like explain it a little bit more, that like the ideas of suicide can be really subtle, and they can just kind of gnaw at you, or you can feel raw emotions, like you have no skin, like you feel everything. And I do believe that a lot of people who get to this point, they feel hopeless, that they feel like nobody understands and they're all alone, and that everything that they have felt mattered is going away, and so what matters? And so they just want to not be in that kind of emotional pain. And for some people who are experiencing illness, it could be physical pain as well. I have a friend who she's a Taurus, but she's got Neptune and Scorpio like I do. And she's been experiencing physical pain for almost 30 years now due to Crohn's disease. So you can have those feelings that you are starting to entertain at this time. And so, that's part of that energy that we're going to be experiencing for June and July. Fortunately, June and July in the northern hemisphere anyway fall in a sunny time of year, which can actually help. And I would honestly recommend that you get out, especially with that Mars in Sagittarius before it gets back into Scorpio, for the next month. Definitely get out and get lots of exercise and sun, because that's going to help. And even especially after Mars goes into Scorpio for June and July, sun builds vitamin D, helps serotonin levels, and that would be really helpful to those mood swings and everything like that. Let's see here. I wrote a bunch of things down. I'm just kind of seeing what I want to talk about, what I don't. So I'm sorry, I'm being really quiet here, so I know you're listening. This period over summer will be the most intense for these energies. And the other thing is Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius. This is the one last thing I want to talk about with this, and then I'm going to take calls. So Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy can be an energy of extremes. all signs can have extremes because you have spirit and you have ego. Um, my personal experience, so I am definitely admitting that this is my color of astrology, that Sagittarius energy brings out the extremes, which in certain circumstances can bring out bipolar tendencies, which can add to manic depression and this whole depressive energy. So this isn't something that I like to talk about, like I said, a lot on the show, because it just touches to people's personal lives and private lives. And I think this show, I tend to like to keep it more, I mean, I don't want to say it's a superficial show. It's not. But, a little bit, which is ironic being I'm a Scorpio, but a little bit more superficial because it's really a learning show. It's a teaching show. But because of this energy, it's just I have such strong feelings towards what's happening with this energy right now that you have to understand that people who are bipolar or who might have emotional quote unquote diseases, because I think definitely it's our emotional life, that they need to be more aware of this heightened time that those particular things can be triggered. So, as Mars is retrograde and Saturn is retrograde in Sagittarius, please, if you know someone who may be struggling but maybe attempting to keep it hidden or maybe not wanting to go and get help, just stop by and say hello. Bring them something. Keep in contact. Do it. If they run across your mind, call them up and make contact with them, because this is a crucial time over the summer. It is something I've hinted about in the show, but I wanted to directly head on address it because it's going to be a psychological intense time. It's going to be intense. It's wrapping up of our old stories, and we absolutely are moving on. And so that's okay. So this is just the last bit of those old stories. Anyway, okay, that's all I wanted to say. I feel better now. And I'm going to take a minute break, compose myself, and we'll come back and take calls. If you want to get a reading, it's 347-994-3365, and I'll be right back. And hopefully if you're not wearing headsets, I know this ad is a little bit loud. Let me turn it down just a little bit, see hopefully that'll help. Okay. In these days of stress, running around, responsibilities, we all need a little place to go to make it all better. Is that place sports, football, or maybe you like to garden, paint, or just listen to music? Wherever your happy place is, you can find a shirt or mug to reflect that happy place. At myhappyplace.rocks, we have a variety of lifestyle products, including iPhone cases, pajamas, and pet items, all with beautiful, colorful designs, which help us go to our happy place. Stop by on the web for great gift ideas for others and yourself. myhappyplace.rocks. Lenny Pickett appears courtesy of Random Act Records. Check them out at randomactrecords.com. Okay, hey, welcome back. Hopefully that got us in a little bit different mindset, and yeah, I hope you have a happy place, and definitely get familiar with your happy place. And probably you've already been introduced to your happy place at the beginning of this year, but planetary shifts have maybe helped you forget a little bit. But definitely go to your happy place, because this is what I say. You want to know how to be happy? Do what makes you happy. Okay, let's take a call. 407. Hi, who is this?
Hey, this is Laura.
Hey, Laura. How are you? Are you enjoying the sun today? It's such a beautiful day out.
I know. We've got our 1 month of beautiful weather. Sunny but breezy,
start to sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura, do you mind if I tell everyone where you are right now?
Yeah.
I assume you're in Orlando.
Yep.
So, yeah, but it's awesome. Now, are you April 24th? Is that you?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, what can I do for you today?
Okay. Stuff happened really rapidly. The person I was working for stepped down, and now I am stepping into that position.
Okay.
So I'm wondering how that affects the beginning of this job, with everything retrograde and
Oh, the retrogrades. Okay,
officially started yesterday.
Well, that's awesome. Actually, it's interesting because I've noticed that there is an actual pattern right now amongst people who are initiating things. I know two businesses that started, and you started a job. My friend's husband started a job this week. So there is an initiating energy going on. So I wouldn't worry about that per se. What I would say is that there may be something that comes up over the course of time that will shift and change what you're doing in that position. And, like definitely look to what's going on with travel. Looks like you've got Saturn and Mars in your house of work. So there's some energy going back. Now, is this something that you've done in the past? Like you say that you took, so it's more responsibility. Is that what this is? More responsibility?
Yes,
okay.
And also more training.
More training. Okay, well, that's Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules training as well. So that actually sounds like it can work into something that would be what you would really enjoy doing. Is that something that you've thought about doing in the past?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, well, you've got Neptune in Sagittarius, which is someone who would love to do training and education within the work environment. So that looks good. Again, Taurus is going forward. So did they offer you more money? I would assume they would.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Got a little bump.
Okay, you've got Vesta, 1 degree. Well, everybody does. Vesta is right next to Mercury. So that tells me there could be a female energy in this job. Not only that, but also Venus conjunct Uranus. So there's probably an energy of you really want some independence and you want to call the shots, but somebody else you're like going to have to answer to somebody who may not be easy to cooperate with. And
yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. I'm at work, so.
I understand. Go ahead.
Right.
Whatever
there's
you can
not
say.
a lot of there's not a lot of females, I think, higher up. In like what I'm going into, and I at times I feel kind of condescended to. I'm like, I know a lot more than you give me credit for.
It. Okay, you're expressing.
Right,
that's really
I feel
ironic.
like I get the negative brunt of it.
Okay, I was gonna look at your chart and say, there's definitely First off, Venus is in Aries, so you're coming out as an assertive person. It's conjunct Uranus, which means not only are you able to have amazing ideas and things that can improve the situation where you're at, and this is the genius marketer. I mentioned Taylor Swift a lot on the show, but that would be the kind of energy I liken to what a genius marketer would like, somebody who just knows how to get to people and how to make them buy what they're trying to sell. You have Venus right next to that, which means you have tremendous genius at work in your career, and you're able to express it. The thing is, though, that you're expressing it in a masculine way, which will bring out insecurities probably from the male ego in your work environment. And that's something you're experiencing. Yeah. So not only that, and that was the reason I said it was ironic was because I was looking at your chart and Mars and Saturn are retrograde in your house of work. And I was going to say, because normally I assign the Vesta energy as like a shrew kind of person, someone who's just nasty and irritable, you may come across like that to other people. If you own that energy, I don't know. But I wouldn't necessarily assign it to the person I'm looking at. Usually it's someone in their environment. But then I saw Saturn and Mars are retrograde, and they're both in fire signs, and their masculine energy, well, Saturn, questionable if it's masculine or feminine. Capricorn's a feminine energy, but definitely Saturn rules the father figure, so go figure. Anyway, Mars and Saturn can be very masculine in fire sign, and retrograding, I was going to say, go back to someone you've known to get help in how to deal with this, and preferably a male figure. It could be even a father or a brother, someone who might be able to help you navigate a little bit of what's going on in this environment. The other thing is, interestingly, in your chart, you have Sun conjunct Mars right now. So the Sun in the sky is at 29:58, and your Mars is at 29:27. They're almost exactly the same minute in the sky. So if you look up in the sky right now, right there is where your Mars was when you were born. That's how I like to give you an idea. Like, as the Earth turns, that part of the sky is your Mars. And so that part of the sky is affecting that strong male drive. Now, the good news is Sun is going into Taurus. Taurus is a feminine energy. And so there will be a backing off of some of that intense male energy and that need to puff up, so to speak. And then when the Sun gets in, it's going to be literally on your Mercury, which is communications, and so you're going to find your feminine way of expressing yourself, because right now, literally today, you're in your masculine energy. You're in your masculine ego, okay? It's coming out of you. And it's at work. The Sun in your chart is in the house of networking, people in career circles, and money from work, things like that.
So you're saying it comes off too strong and masculine, and it kind of intimidates the men or turns them off.
Yeah, you are very confident, and there's a reason that women always complain that when they're confident, they're called bossy and bitches. It's because that is, in our society, being assertive is considered to be masculine. And, it doesn't have to be masculine, but that's the way society sees it. And actually now looking at your chart, I just did a refreshed now chart to connect to yours. And literally 15 minutes ago, the Sun went into Taurus. So right now, as we speak, Sun's in Taurus and on your Mercury. So you're getting a little earful of what's going on, and that's exactly what's going on right now, is that you're needing to express yourself more in a receptive mode and use that as your strength. So what I would suggest is, and I know this can be difficult, and right now Uranus is just about in your 11th house, which is the house that Taurus is in right now. It isn't there yet. When it gets there, it really likes to say, hey, I know what I'm doing, and tells everybody what it knows. You need to listen, at least right now, until Uranus is in that house. Uranus will retrograde before it actually gets to that house. It'll be later this year that you'll see Uranus in your 11th house. Right now, it's at the very, very end of your house of career. So you're really wrapping up this whole energy of, I'm going to do it myself. Your chart is really, really strong, and I say this to a lot of people because of Uranus and Aries right now, but your chart is really strong entrepreneurial energy and working for yourself. So if you're looking towards that being an ultimate goal of yours, I think it is coming.
Well, that is my long-term goal. I mean, I'm the director of marketing now, and for some reason training is underneath me, which is fine because I was thinking long-term I would like to be a technical trainer. And some trainers, they'll get with a certain software company, and some of them, they work independently. You could work for a couple different software companies, traveling to businesses and doing training for a week or a day or whatever.
Right.
But, I'd have to promote myself a lot to do that. And I know that to build myself up, I need this position for at least a year or two.
Yeah. Definitely the year time frame, because I'm looking at your how it's going to time out, because you've got Saturn coming up on your Neptune, and I can tell you when Saturn hits your Neptune, it's that's go time for your dream. The fantasy becomes real. So let me look. It's going to be around 1919, I think. Saturn hold on. It's 24 Sagittarius. I'm just flipping through the pages because old school. I know they have programs that do that, but I don't do it. October 2017. So what are we in? 2016. So it's only a little a year and a half away. And that's when Saturn will be coming right up on your Neptune. But it's going to stay there and kind of, tweak it. I think it'll go retrograde. It might get back up to it. I'm not sure. Let me see if you have to go over it more than once. It doesn't look like it. So really, hang on. I'm just going to back up throughout the year and see if you do have, because sometimes Saturn will get to a point. Yeah. So over the course of May of next year, all of next year, actually, in January, Saturn's going to be almost at 24. It's there 26th of January 2017. So 10 months away, it's going to be right on Neptune, and then over the course of the year, it's going to be going back and forth. So you're really shoring up that dream and what you want your work environment to look like. So all of next year, and I'm guessing that there's going to be a real strong opportunity to move and or travel, because you have Neptune in Sagittarius. So it's really a strong connection in your life. It's something that, like, this is in your soul, so to speak, that you need to find out about other cultures and go other places, and you need to connect to other people. And it's the Virgo house. It's a service house. So you have like this dream of really bonding with other cultures and doing something of service and creating this whole realm. And for you, and I've got chills when I tell you this too, then you've got Venus and Mercury and Sun in Taurus up in the Aquarian house, and the Aquarius sign is the sign of humanitarianism. So, I mean, those planets are in Taurus, but they're up there in the 11th house, which is an Aquarian house. So you want to create something tangible for people in this lifetime. That's part of your makeup. And oh my gosh, and you've got 3 planets in Libra, which is the social worker of the zodiac. So yeah, for you, it looks like your dream definitely involves people of other cultures and building homes and building structures or building something real so that they can get on their economic feet. That would be something that you could really make a difference in. And I don't know if you thought about it, but I'm just throwing it out there because it looks really strong in your chart.
Yeah, I don't know how. I thought of the technical training thing because that's my.
Well,
experience.
tech can be good too. Tech is in your chart too, and I always forget that because the Aquarius rules technology, so I can see that too. But and definitely with Aquarius and Uranus connection, Uranus goes into your Aquarius house within the next 6 months, I would say. So I can look that up for you. But I'm telling you, I'm just going to give you a little heads up. When Saturn hits your Neptune, which is all next year, it's the end of January next year, it's going to wake you up to things you didn't realize you wanted, okay? It is a culmination of energy, and it's concentrated energy. It's like the flash of green before the sun goes down. You know, it's one of those things. It's like, whoa, I didn't even know that was there. And so things over the course of this year and mostly next year, concentrated, is when you are making the dream come true, whatever it is, okay? But I do think that there's either going to be some more education, you may do the training, or it can be travel with training. There's definitely some connection to training. And Neptune rules the subconscious and dream life, and Sagittarius rules religion. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is something that opens up in you in a religious sense, that, like something that is just of your spirit that has to be expressed. So I'm just letting you know. Hang on a second. I'm looking. Yeah, it's going to be next year. I was looking for something. I forgot what I was looking for. Oh, Uranus. That's right. So Uranus has to get to 22 degrees. He actually gets in there. He'll get in there this year before he goes retrograde in May. So all of May, Uranus literally is shifting houses, which is probably why you got offered this job, because it's only a few weeks away. And he will be, let's see, 2232. I'm just looking the exact day for you. The 17th of May, Uranus will be exactly into your next house. And that means that the energy will shift from the career to more how do you work within the environment that you're in at work, and then also what your worth is from your career. So, and that is also more autonomy as well. And so I think, definitely you're going to be dabbling right on that cusp for about 6 months, but once that's done, then you're going to start feeling the hit to your Neptune in your house of work, and that's going to start to really shift things as well. And then you've got Jupiter on your cusp of home and family, which means a move. So when it goes direct, I think, and there may be some, do you have a partner?
Yeah,
well, something's shifting. Pardon me?
I said, yes, I'm married.
Okay. Well, something's shifting with home around the partner. Jupiter's moving, and it was already there, retrograded out, but it's going back in. And so there's a culmination of some kind of home and family energy and, health, service, welfare kind of thing coming in before October. And then a big shift. You'll have a Jupiter return in October. And I'll tell you about that when October comes. So.
Well, I kind of figured it out from last time. My last Jupiter return, I got pregnant. I conceived.
Oh.
I didn't have him during my Jupiter. I got pregnant, and then 9 months later, I had him after. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I thought that was funny.
Got out. Yeah,
Literally
well, that's coming up again. Cool. Well, anyway, it was good talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
call back if you need anything. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's go to 909. Hi, 909. How are you? What's your name and what can I do for you?
Angie. My name's Angie. Birthday is August 8/17/1964 in Torrance, California.
You said August 17th? 64.
Yes, 1964.
Okay, what time did you say?
3:07 p.m.
Okay, and Torrance, Toranceca. Okay. Let's see what we have here. I'm going to probably run over a little bit, and that's because I ran so late with what I was saying. So don't worry. I mean, the show ends in 4 minutes, so we'll continue to talk here after it ends. So I just want to let everybody know listening, too, that we'll continue on a little bit. We've got, I think, another 10 minutes of record time for the archives, so we'll keep going. Okay, so what can I do for you today?
I'm just wondering about, I just feel like something's going to happen, but when is it going to happen? I just feel so stuck. And,
it's going to happen after May 9th. How about that?
For everybody?
Yeah, listen, you were born August 17th. I was born September 10th, which was 3 weeks after you, literally the same year. So I completely understand what you're saying. It's like, okay, something big's going to happen. Something big's going to happen. And you have Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, which is, and I tell this a lot to people because not everybody knows, Jupiter is 1,000 times the size of Earth. Think about that. That's 2 million miles around the middle of it. Think about that. That's an amazingly huge planet. And it's right on top of your Pluto, which is one of the smallest. But Pluto packs one hell of a punch, okay? Pluto will change your life. Jupiter is right at the exact same degree as your Pluto. And that's a lot of stuff. That's intense. And not only that, he's within 4 degrees of Uranus because our birthdays, the year around our birthdays, is the year that Uranus and Pluto were at the same spot in the sky. So right now, they're squaring each other. And that's really difficult for our generation because we're used to working in tandem to really make huge changes that affect society and go forward. And, okay, we've done it, but squaring means we've got resistance. They're not working with us. They're trying to fight it. So that pop, the inertia you're feeling, that unspoken sense of something has to change is Jupiter retrograde on your Pluto. Okay? So Jupiter goes direct on May 9th. It is starred on my calendar in red highlights. This is the day I will get some relief, and you will too. At that point, and you'll be feeling it in the next couple of weeks. You'll start to really feel it the first week of May, because what happens is Jupiter will slow down and then will come back into forward motion, and that shift, I can guarantee you, is going to shift your world and my world. And this is part of the reason we came into this is because of these planets conjuncting in this year. And we have so much to give the world. And you've got all that energy up there in the 9th house, which is the house of education, spirituality, higher understanding, Sagittarians, that house of Sagittarius. So anything Sagittarius rules, that's where you express this. And
Oh.
so, yeah, you've got the last couple degrees of a sun in Leo. Then you have Uranus, Pluto, and Mercury all in Virgo within 8 degrees of each other. They're 8 degrees apart.
Oh.
That's pretty intense. So you
Really?
have this amazing, like for your life, like we talk about life purpose. I talk about life purpose. You have Saturn and Pisces. So I know this because I have Saturn and Pisces too. It's retrograde. You personally, as a retrograde, means that Saturn's in Aquarius at the last degrees of Aquarius for you by progression right now, and that means that part of your life purpose, living day to day until it goes direct, which will be, it may already be direct for you now in your chart. For me, it's not direct until next year, but that means that the energies shift. That we're going to feel like, okay, I don't have to constantly say, what am I doing with my life? It's going to happen. It's starting to come together.
Yeah.
And
what you just said about that day to day is just exactly that, day to day. When is something I really want to move. I really just want things to just get going.
They
and
will.
Nothing's
This
going.
is going. I know. I so know. Trust me. And then we have Saturn and Mars and Pluto all retrograde right when it's like right on the cusp. Today or this year is really the push year. This is the year where, like I said earlier in the show, we say goodbye to what the old story is and what we've hung on to for so long as an ideal. Because you also have Neptune in Scorpio. That falls in your house of humanitarianism, which is the 11th house. It's also the one I was talking to the last caller about. It's the house of money from work. It's the friendships from your soul group. It's connecting specifically for you because you have Neptune, which is breaking down the barriers. Scorpio, which doesn't want anything but to merge with someone, in the house of friendship. Traditionally, it's friendship, but I really think that personal friendships are more the 5th house, which is Leo energy, and the Aquarius energy is soul groups. This is where you meet up with people that understand you as a human being, and that's part of your life thing. So, I've got chills with that too. Mars for you is in your 12th house, which is also having the inertia. I'm not kidding. 12th house, Pisces, and Neptune are all making different energies in your chart that can have you feeling like I can't get forward. It's like slogging through mud. It's happening.
Yes.
It is. I just want to tell you this. There are different energies that just retrograded and others that are turning direct, and they're all like going to do something. They all have a purpose. So the retrograde energies are wrapping up the story. Let's see where you are with that. Okay, so Mars is wrapping up a lot of these deep, maybe depressing thoughts you've had, depressing feelings around not connecting to someone and not having what you need in relationships or in your career, or connecting to your soul group is really kind of where it comes from, and not necessarily connecting into the people that will feed your soul. You felt that because you have Sagittarius at 14 rising. So Saturn just went into your first house, and then he retrograded, so he's going to go back into your 12th. So he's trying to wrap up the old story around self-worth and in your subconscious. What he's doing is he's rotor-rootering, spring cleaning your subconscious out of things that have held you in the past, okay? So if you look at it that way over the summer, that's your job, is to just deal with those things, okay? You've got so much positive forward motion coming in at the end of the year. It's crazy. Not only
and
I
what
got chills.
Specific area?
Money, self, and money
hopeful.
and self-worth. Money, self-worth, and then in October, career. It's all
everything's slow right now.
Well, I've got Mercury now. He's going to retrograde too. Darn it! Literally, he gets on top of your Jupiter, and he's going to go, "Hey, money and work! Yay! I get it. I love it. Do yes."
Yeah.
And then it's mine too. I have Jupiter at 26 Taurus. I mean, I get it. So
do you feel like any move, change of location? I am so really unhappy living where I'm at right now, and nobody is supporting the fact that I really want to move. Everybody's like, they just don't hear me, and so
no, you're going to move. Uranus is going to Yeah, I think later it might be, it's actually going to hit around spring of next year. If you can hold out for one more year. Uranus, which is autonomy and the self, is going to transit over the cusp of home and family at the end degrees back into creativity and romance. And at that point, I think that you're going to have probably a fling. You're going to start to open up your creativity. You're going to learn that you can earn your own living from being creative and bring in some extra income. It doesn't have to be just, but it can be extra, because Uranus is entrepreneurship in Aries. So it just needs to get over that cusp. And that home and family is where you're being held. You're really wrapping up the story around family not supporting you and not understanding you, because Uranus is like, you're so strange. What is your deal? And then Uranus, Pluto, it's part of you and our whole generation coming in going, wait a minute, we have a mindset that is so different from those before us, and we need to come in when Pluto has the power and Uranus has the strength, and they're co-joined, so that they're going to say, no, we're not going to be kept down. Because Virgo is kind of like the quiet worker in the back, the janitor that nobody ever sees. Okay?
Yeah.
And so we have Uranus and Pluto and Mercury, you and I anyway, and our generation has Pluto and Uranus in Virgo. And so we are the ones who go behind the scenes, and a lot of times we like it that way. I mean, you have Sun in Leo, so you have a little bit of that like zazz. Sorry about that. You have that zazz where, I could take a little bit of attention. I'm good with that. And I have Venus in Leo, so I have a little bit of it too. But
you kind of require it, huh?
Yeah, you've got Venus conjunct Mars in your chart, and they're in Cancer. And Cancer is another worker sign, and it rules home and family. So you do have a strong link to family, and I would say your father meant a lot. Well, your mother too, because it's Cancer, but it's in the house of your father. So there's a real strong motherly bond towards the parent of the opposite sex. And I say this a lot. If you're straight, it's the opposite sex. If you're gay, then it's the parent on the same sex. So if you're straight, it's your dad. And so, that energy is strong in your chart, but definitely it's all squaring Uranus, and it has been squaring Uranus. You've been struggling so hard to break free of that Cancer energy and the home and family and say, I am an individual. Look at what I can do. Just let me go. Let me be. Let me do it. And it's coming. It's coming. Next year is our year.
Next year. Oh, great.
Next year. I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to happen before then. It's building, and it's going to start this year as well. It already has started, actually. It started at the end of last year. Okay. It started at the end of last year, and it's finishing up. You'll be well on the path next year, but this year is really saying goodbye to the old paradigm. That's really what it's meant to be. Okay.
Yeah, which feels like it's been forever.
It has. But so what you can expect is Jupiter's going to go direct after the 9th. He's going to gain some speed again, going towards your midheaven, which is also going to trigger a move too. So that could be another move by October, because Jupiter will hit that midheaven in October. So there's probably going to be something happening in October for you, or even late September. I mean, it could come as it's approaching. There will be some energy you'll be feeling. And then the culmination, it's September 9th. Jupiter goes into Libra, September 9th, which is, boom, like partnership. There's some kind of career partnership energy coming in for you with that energy. And then the commitment a year after. So it could be a career commitment. It could be a love commitment. Saturn's in your first house, so you're learning how to be who you are. You're learning how to take charge of your life and your feelings, because you have Moon and Sag there. So the next 2.5 years, it just got in, the next 2.5 years is about you and shoring up who you are as a person to really fulfill what you need to do to move to the next, it's really the next phase of your life. Okay?
Yeah. Well, I hope I'm ready. I hope I can do it.
I feel you. I totally feel you.
I've been stuck for too long, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's really good to hear for me, to hear you, because I'm like, does anyone else in my generation feel this? Because I don't have a lot of friends who are my age, but I'm feeling the same inertia.
No, I don't either.
I just can't take it. So, please do call back, because it's good to talk to someone.
I will. Okay.
Yeah.
I will call back. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Angie,
I'm
you have a lovely
Thanks so much.
day. Okay, great. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, to 917, I'm sorry, I know you've been holding for about 20 minutes, but it's the end of the show, so if you would please call back next week. Call in early, about 5 or 10 minutes before the show. I will absolutely get to you. And you can also check me out at astrologerangel.com. That is my website, and I can do readings, all different prices. There are different types of readings that cost different prices so that we can find something that would suit your budget. Anyway, that's all for this week, and I want to thank you for showing up, and take care. Bye. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodраin.com.